All right, let's do a little training session and have a chat, and I'll explain what's going on. So let's do a warm-up set first. We've benched once this year. I did 120. That was the first time in like 6 years. Close grip. So what happened to my foot? Well, basically jiu-jitsu happened to my foot. For people watching, if you do jiu-jitsu, basically someone was in a De La Riva guard from the side. They were kind of far up on my shin, so they were off the ground. They were holding grips, and then they basically dropped to the ground. But obviously, instead of just dropping on the ground, they landed on my foot. So a pronated foot arched to the floor. But as they were dropping, they pulled. So extreme over pronation of my foot while pinned. Obviously, wasn't good. Touching wood, luckily the knees were perfect, but I suppose the knees have a 300 kilo squat and 190 kilo clean, so they've been used to a little bit of inversion or valgus vagal movement under duress, so they came out unscathed. But turns out that I have a crack in the kind of base of my toes and one of the metatarsal joints, and there's a chip gone off, but just because I've just got an x-ray, we don't know if it's an avulsion fracture or not. So I have to get an MRI next week to see the soft tissue. The crack seems to be pretty... I was looking at the x-rays of the doctor, and it's not major. It doesn't seem to go the whole way across the joint, but it seems to be there. Kind of looks like it's already closing up already. And then the chip is tiny. It's like the size of... it's minuscule. It's like really is like a chip. Whatever size you're imagining is probably pretty close. So the issue is, if it's an avulsion fracture, I'd need someone else to look at it and see if the tendon came with it. So usually that's what avulsion fracture's on. Now it could be a chip in absence of an avulsion fracture. It could just be the chip, which I think it would also be fine. Fuck. So I need to see that next week. To be honest with you, it's not that sore. I didn't think it was that sore. So it happened Monday night. As soon as it happened, obviously I looked at my foot and I was like, fuck. Walked off, could move it, immediately checked for dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, lateral movements, medial and lateral inversion of the foot. Had all of those available, so I was like, okay. I was like, even if it's broken, it's not that bad, because my Achilles and other ligaments are intact currently. So I was like, this is good. I was like, everything from here isn't as bad as if I needed an Achilles surgery or rupture. They're very, very long, very complicated ligaments, incredibly robust, thankfully, from years of weightlifting. So I just walked away and was like up, down, left, right, pronation, supination of the foot. Had pretty much most of it. It wasn't that sore, but I had the movement there. So I was like, okay, whew. It's okay, it's a good start. Then it started getting a little bit sore. Swelling started, obviously, so I put ice on it. The swelling was inevitable. Didn't know if it was broken then, so I drove home. I was obviously pretty sore driving home, but I made it home. And yesterday, swelling was down a bit more. Swelling was down a bit more again this morning, but my wife was like, you should definitely go get an x-ray. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I probably should go get an x-ray, stop being a man about it. So got the x-ray today. And again, to be honest, I wouldn't have thought it was sore. It's not that sore right now. I've been taking any painkillers. They recommended Nurofen for the inflammation, but not a bitch. I'm joking. I'm not joking. Am I joking? Like the queer veins in my wrist, the expansion of the tendon sheet, or if that was a broken bone, I don't know, was way sore. In fact, that was probably the sorest injury I've ever had. So broken bones in the foot actually isn't that bad. Now, it opens a lot of questions, but I'm going to do another set there. Remains to be seen. Fingers crossed I don't need surgery. And avulsion fractures on the foot do heal in absence of surgery. So, well, all fractures with tendons do heal, but healing correctly is a big one. So it remains to be seen, and it's obviously not ideal, but it is them's the breaks, quite literally, no pun intended. So the cookie crumbles. That's sport. On one hand, I'm kind of happy it wasn't my fault. There's nothing I could have done. But on the other hand, it does make me think a little bit about jiu-jitsu, and not from the injury risk, from my own personal point of view. Just kind of musing here. So if I'm still doing jiu-jitsu in 2 months' time or whatever, don't be like, you said you were giving up jiu-jitsu. Just thinking out loud here is that the pain, irrelevant, no big deal, get over it. But the burden I put on people, my family, son, care time, availability, my responsibilities, my availabilities for Dara, our responsibilities with business, they're all diminished, in relation to this. And it's definitely interesting. So I know you could do anything and get hurt, but there's certain activities that have risk-reward ratios, and it's one of the reasons I don't really do competitions in jiu-jitsu anymore. So I did something like 5, was it last year or the year before? Something like 5 in a couple of month period. And I really enjoy them, and I love training jiu-jitsu, but the reason I kind of wound down with competitions is like, it's not really much point in doing these. It's nice, but the intensity is high, and the propensity for someone to hurt you is higher than training. And jiu-jitsu is not my sport. It's really important to me to not make it weightlifting again. But it was something that I was like, okay, an obvious answer here is just they don't really do many competitions, do them so often, and I do enjoy them, but let's lay off that and put that aside. And my training partners are great and really reliable, so it was a safer environment and we could train hard, and I really like jiu-jitsu, but it definitely has given me a bit of pause that even though I love it, it is the possibility for that to happen, because if it's something I wasn't even in my control, if you miss a squat or you're lifting heavy, all those things are somewhat in your control. So you're kind of left with, okay, this could technically happen the first week I come back again to the other foot, you know what I mean? So it's definitely given me a bit of thought, and I love jiu-jitsu, but it is important for me to be a bit smarter about this, because I have particular goals for business with Dara, and more importantly above that, I have obligations, responsibilities as a man and a father to my family, and right now I am very much not fulfilling those, and it's not something I enjoy. So it's definitely given me thought. I'm not saying I'm definitely finished with jiu-jitsu, but it's definitely made me think a little bit about it. I can't do my snatching. So we'll see. No concrete decisions now, but just giving the thoughts out here in the vlog that it's definitely something I'm thinking about. The rewards to it for life and business and stuff aren't really that high. It's purely a personal endeavor. So I have to be, an adult and responsible about stuff. And is it a wise decision to keep training? It's something to think about for sure. And to be honest with you, it also encumbers my ability to do weightlifting currently, obviously, which is and was my first love. So it's definitely a thinking point. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. And, I've obligations, I've too much shit to be doing. I'm busy, I've got business to do, I've got things to do, and I need to be conscious of those. So we'll see how it goes. So as it is now, I don't know how long I'll be in this. I'll kind of know next week, and I'll see how the next few days. I don't know how long I'll be in this, so a couple of weeks, a couple of days, so we'll have an idea. Obviously, I'm supposed to go to Paris for the Olympics in 16 days or something, so I don't really know if I'll be able to do it in the boot, so we have to be really conscious. Now, I will throw the kitchen sink at it to make it go faster, but things can only go so fast. Now, there is obviously ways of making things go faster. So those fucking birds. So obviously there's ways of making it heal a little bit faster. So we'll, so we'll go on with the bench. Do a bit of benching for the next few weeks, upper body sessions. I can do the bike as well, stationary bike, so it doesn't put any pressure on it. So I've been told to do no weight bearing activities. And upper body conditioning, so I can still get leaner like I'm looking to. I can keep doing my upper body bodybuilding like I'm looking to, keep my conditioning good, so I can hit a couple of areas there, and if it's not too long, it should be pretty no trouble. But it's anything longer than like 3 or 4 weeks, it will be a bit of a period of retraining then, which is be kind of annoying. So I'm going to continue on with my bench, and we will keep going ahead, keep moving on with stuff. A lot of work I can still do, still some weight training I can do, so I can still make some progress on some of my goals. So we got to keep it up. There's nothing else to it. Eat nothing to it but to do it. I'm going to probably stick at like 80 kilos tonight. Do sets of 5x5, and I'll go look and see where what I should be at on Sika bench, and probably just run that, as it goes quite well for a lot of people. So enjoy the rest of the training session. It's going to be mostly bench and some upper body stuff, and then I'm going to do some conditioning, and we'll just have to get the fuck on with it. Don't be a bitch. We'll be alright. Just pretty annoying, pretty inconvenient, and kind of stupid how it happened, which is the most annoying part.
Like in terms of clients, maybe general population, and I will never stop working with Gen Pop people. I'll never stop working with everyone. I'll never stop putting out content, because regardless of where business is at, I still want to give back to the community and the world that gave me so much. And if doing this helps